everybody, to episode 2 of Women Who Hunt. Today we're joined by Mel VanDeelen. Mel, thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into hunting?
I enjoy the outdoors. Like, as a kid growing up, I was into surfing and just with nature, and my dad would always go out hunting with his bosses at work from before I was even born. So it was just something that was regular in my life, and I became fascinated with it. But whenever I would ask my dad if I could join him on his hunt, he's like, "No, honey, you're too young." And then once I got old enough, it's like, "No, honey, it's the boys' weekend." And I'm like, "Are you serious? Like, come on. This is something that I want to do." He'd always take me to the rifle range though. So I did learn he did teach me how to shoot. But he would never take me out hunting. And then I met my husband, and he's probably been going out with my dad now 20 plus years hunting. And again, I'm like, "Oh, come on, guys, seriously, I want to go. Like, it's something I want to do." Yeah. And at the time, well, I was pregnant, and they're like, "Oh, no, you can't come out now because you're pregnant." I'm like, "But I wasn't before. Like, what's stopping me now?" And then the girls, I had both the girls, they're 19 months apart. So for 3 years I was pregnant type of thing. And
doing the mum stuff.
Yeah, doing the mum stuff, and then just watching my kids grow, and I'm like, I want to get them out to do this because I loved being behind a rifle. Like, I just loved looking through the scope. At that time it was just at targets, but I loved doing that. And I said to my husband, I want to get the girls into this. Yeah. And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, I just want them to have a passion. I just want them to be comfortable around this type of thing because, like, I grew up on dairy farms, so I was used to things that died, reused for food for us, and whatnot. And I didn't want them growing up not knowing where our food came from.
So a bit of a connection to where that comes from and that sort of thing through nature.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So he's like, "Oh, we need to wait for them to get a little bit older." And I said, I understand that, because where we go, it's like 7.5 hours west of the Gold Coast. So we're talking the outback, and like
proper bush.
Yeah, and it's dangerous. Like, you've got your browns, you've got all type of snakes. And so I went, "Okay, well, tell me when, and I'll prep the girls. I'll make sure that they're ready." So finally, my youngest was 5 and the oldest was 7. And he goes, "All right, we're going to go out hunting this year." I'm like, "Oh, when?" He goes, "The Queen's birthday long weekend." So it was early October. I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I got the girls long pants. I got them boots because I know what the terrain was like, because I'd been out there a couple of times to the property just to visit family that are out there, but I never got to really hunt on it.
Yeah.
So we did
but
that.
You knew
and
what you were
got
going
out there.
To.
Yeah. So and we kind of gave the girls a bit of a heads up. Listen, you don't go anywhere alone. You're looking under the steps. You're looking at the ground. You're constantly being aware of your surroundings before you place your foot. And so we took out the air rifles at that stage just for the girls to get a bit of practice with.
Yep.
And we set up their targets probably 20 metres away from where we were, and Michael sat down and he went through all the rules that we have in place for them when they are hunting now, and just drilled into them. This is what we do. This is where you point your rifle. This is what everything we do. And then he taught them how to shoot with the air rifle. And it's
How did that go?
Really good. Like, the oldest, Charli, she's she's real cluey when it comes to that stuff. And so she probably missed the target the first couple of times, but then realized that she needed to control her breathing, and then she was hitting the target. And yeah, she turned around and she goes, "Look at that, Mum, I'm better than you." I'm like,
Love it.
"No, you're not." And she goes, "Yeah, I got a bullseye." And I went, "Yeah, you got one, but I got 4.
So then the rivalry began.
Oh, yeah. And it's the good rivalry that you want.
Yep.
It's not the nasty competitiveness that
it's the playing
tends to be in society. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and like, I just love the fact that when we go out there, we leave all the BS from the city behind, and you just back to nature. And the one thing I do love about what we do is we hunt for food.
Yep.
So we're hunting goats, and when we are successful, we bring it back and we consume it. And my dogs consume the leftover bits and pieces that aren't really what I want to eat. So yeah,
so nothing's wasted.
No, and I'm currently cooking up a goat massamum curry on the stove tonight. So
yum. That is so good. So what do you reckon your favourite memory would be now that the girls are with you and you're out doing your hunting and that sort of thing as a family? Is there a favourite memory that you've got about being out in the bush with them?
Yeah. Prior to, like, it took me ages before I actually got my first animal, because I was more focused on making sure that the girls were having fun, being safe, and just enjoying themselves. So the first time, my first pig, it's clear in my head. It's like we're at the dam, the main dam on the farm, and like my husband, Michael, he's like, "This dam, the pigs love." So we rocked up just prior to sunset, and we're just sitting out underneath a tree, just stalking. And next thing you know, out of this gully pops a mob of pigs. There was probably about 4 sows and as many piglets that I could see. And they were like 20 meters from us.
Oh, wow.
And I've just gone, "Oh, shit." And Michael goes, "Don't talk, shoot." I'm like, "Oh, shit, sorry."
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. But because I was just so fascinated with, like, how close they got. Like, we didn't hear them. We couldn't smell them. And, like, we didn't see them until they popped up out of this gully. And I'm like, no wonder you tricky bastards to shoot. Sorry, but
so they just appeared.
Yeah, and my first pig, and I got a good, decent sized sow, and I was like stoked. I was over the moon. Couldn't believe it. Took photos with it, as you do, just to show my dad that, hey, look, I can hunt.
It's not just for you blokes.
Yep, not just for you. And then the next morning we were out on top of the dam again, and in the distance we could see goats. So we went for a bit of a walk.
Yep.
And I got my first billy that morning. So the same weekend I got my first 2 animals, and like I was like on cloud 9 for the rest of the trip. I'm like, yeah, no, you know what? I'm done.
Yep.
The girls can have fun now. And so it was just like, yeah, it certainly whetted my appetite for more.
Yep. And talk me through that first shot with that pig. Talk me through what that felt like. What once you realised, hang on, this is actually going to happen. What did that feel like? What was that like? Explain it to our listeners that mightn't have sat behind a rifle yet.
Yeah, so just looking through the scope, just eyeing it in, and then realising, hang on, I'm too amped up. I need to just chill. I need to do some breathing exercises, because I needed to make sure that my first shot counted. Yeah. I didn't want to miss and then have them scatter, because I've seen it before. So I'm just doing some deep breaths, just calming myself down so that when I pulled the trigger, it was done. The sow dropped. She didn't move. And then Michael took out the next one. And the girls are in the car behind us going, "Yay, Mum, you got one." Because I think by that stage they were probably 7 and 9. So we'd been going out to the farm for like 2 years before I even got my first animal. But yeah, so just hearing their excitement just made it even more, because they then realised, oh, wow, we can do this. And I think that was what made it even more memorable, was actually seeing my girls realise that they can accomplish anything they set their minds to.
Well, they've just seen Mum do it, haven't they?
Yeah.
What a role model. That's so amazing. So you're raising girls who hunt now, right?
Yep.
So what's that like?
Oh, difficult at times, because now the oldest, she's like 18 in 2 weeks, actually next week. And she's a smart ass when it comes to hunting. She'll like line up, like we do a lot of spotlighting as well. And she's my husband's nicknamed her our bunny whisperer, because no matter where we are, she gets the bunnies spotlighting, and she's getting them on the move. And it's just like, what? Like, so these bunnies are bouncing away from us and he's spotlighting for her and she gets it on the move. And it's just like, well, you certainly didn't learn that from us. Where did you learn that? She goes, oh, just watching you guys. I've just taken what you've done and made it better. I'm like, oh, okay. So then there's the cockiness that comes involved. But it's a good cockiness, because she's so proud of what she's accomplished, and then we're so proud of what she's accomplished.
So is it cocky, or is it just celebrating how good she actually is?
Probably a bit of both.
Yeah.
Because she's like, because the next word would be to me, oh, I bet you can't do that.
Oh, yeah, there's the cocky.
I'm like, and I look at her and I, yeah, probably not actually, darling, but hey, each to their own. And then Evie, she's the youngest, she's 16. For a little while there, she wasn't that keen on it. But the last couple of years, she's actually been more into it, and she was stoked the first time she got her goat. And it's just given her more confidence. Because I think for a while there, she felt like she was in her sister's shadow.
Yeah, okay.
So
which would be a tricky place to be.
It is. So then being able to accomplish this herself gave her the confidence and the knowledge that, you know what, I'm not in my sister's shadow. I'm me, and I can do whatever I want. So, and that's the one thing that we've made sure that we've instilled in the girls is, you can accomplish anything that you set out to.
And so do you reckon that having hunting as a common thread in your family is assisted with that family dynamics? Has it helped with some of that stuff, do you think?
It certainly has, because the girls, like, they're growing up, they've got different interests, and having hunting as a common interest for all four of us gives us that connection, that we're still a family, even though the girls have their own interests outside of hunting, but the hunting itself brings us together.
It's the thread that holds it together, yeah?
Yeah. Yep.
And so talk through Evie's goat? I want to hear about how that all unfolded for her.
We were up on the mountains, and we'd just been driving, and I said to Michael, stop. He's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm smelling billies.
Yep.
He's like, oh, okay. So we get out, and Michael and Charli went one direction, and Evie and I went in another direction. And we were using, Michael's 222, but
Yep.
I've claimed that because I really like that rifle, so it's mine. So for the first time, because prior to that, Evie was only using the 22.
Yep.
And because that's what she felt comfortable with. But then when we saw the goats on the other ridge line, which was probably 50 metres away, she's like, Mum, I need your 222. I'm
So
like,
she instigated it.
Yeah. I'm like, you sure? She goes, yeah. I went, all right, well, I got my earbuds in, so you can use me to lean on, just because the 222's, for her, it's a heavy rifle.
Yep.
So I wanted to be able to give her something to brace on. So I allowed her to use my shoulder, so that she could lean on me, and then I used my arm as the support for the barrel.
Yep.
And I said, all right, well, get it in your sight. She goes, yep. I went, which one have you got? She goes, the black one. And I've looked up and I went, oh, he's nice. She goes, I know, right? I went, all right, now get him in your sights.
Yep.
Do your breathing. Block out everything else that's around you. And when you're ready, pull the trigger.
Yep.
And she goes, okay. So she's taken a little bit of time, and I'm like starting to like, come on, darling, thinking to myself, come on, darling, just pull the trigger. Come on, you can do it.
Yeah.
And but being with them has taught me to be patient. So I've kept my mouth shut, and I just let her do her thing. And next thing you know, she pulls the trigger, and I'm watching him, and he drops to the ground, and she's just like stood still. And I've taken the rifle off her. I went, I think you got him. She goes, really? I went, come on, let's go for a walk over there. She goes, can't we drive? Because it's a bit of a walk. I went, no. Your dad and your sister went the other way, so they can bring the car up to us. It's not that far. So we walked over, and she's looked at him. She's looked at me, and this grin on her face. She's just like, oh, my God, Mum, I got a goat. And I'm like, you did? Oh, my God. She goes, oh, wow. And then she's looking him over, and she goes, all right, so we need to skin him because I want to take the pelt home because Dad can tan it for me. I want the horns as a trophy. I'm like, yeah, sure. And she goes, oh, he's got nice meaty legs. We'll have good roasts out of that, won't we?
Oh.
So straight up, she is looking at this beast going, what part of this can we take home for our consumption? And I'm like, I looked at her and went, he's mighty fine, darling. He's good eating. She goes, yay.
Yeah. There's so much coolness in that. So when Michael and Charli have finally joined you and Evie, what was that like when the four of you were finally together to celebrate a goat?
They pull up, and like Michael's looked and went, okay, so it was the 222. Looked at me and he goes, so did you shoot it? I went, no, she did, and pointed to Evie. And he's like turned and taken a double look, and he's like, what? Like, she what? I went, yeah, Evie took the shot and she did it. And he's like, oh, my God, good work, darling. That was absolutely amazing. And Charlie's like, looked at us and she goes, no, you're pulling my leg. And I went, no, honest to God, it was Evie. And she goes, looks at her sister and she goes, good work, kiddo.
Oh,
I'm like, okay, that's as much praise that Charli will give out. So
that's as good as it's getting. So we're going to take it.
Yeah.
So do you reckon the girls have taught you anything?
Yeah, patience. And not to rush them. Because, hunting, it's not a rush job. Like, you just need to be calm, and take your time, and just being out with them has made me appreciate the slowness a lot more. So,
all right, so let's talk through that slowness, because sometimes people hear hunting and that sort of stuff, and you're Johnny on the spot, and you've got to be doing all of the right things at all of the right time. But talk me through the slowness of that, because I know that was something when I first started hunting. It's almost a paradox, right? Because there's so much going on, but there's also the slowness. So what does that feel like for you guys as a family?
It's more just our brains stop ticking over. Like, because when you're in suburbia, you're constantly thinking, because you've got work, you've got other commitments, you've got other things to focus on. But then when you're out on the farm or out in the bush, everything just melts away. And it's just like my head stops, and all I know is that I'm under this awesome big blue sky, hardly no traffic, and I'm just you're able to take time and be in the present, and you don't need to worry about anything. Like, there's no need to rush your shot, because if you're in the right position, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And even if they do move off, you'll find them in another spot. So it's more about just being able to focus on being in the here and now and not worry about anything else. I think that's the slowness for me. And because, because I find when we're heading out to the farm, I'm all antsy up until I get past Toowoomba. Once I hit Toowoomba, it's like the veil's been lifted and all of my noise in my head disappears.
It's like the exhale.
Because it's just like, oh, yeah. And it's just like, oh, yep, okay. This is where I want to be.
Yep. Heading to happy.
Yeah. Yep.
So we'll switch gears a little bit.
Yep.
Have you ever felt pressure or judgment being a woman in the hunting space?
Sometimes. Like, I know my dad grew up in the era where it was just men. And then when I expressed an interest in wanting to do it, it was like, nah, it's not for you. And when I was little, my mum said no, because she didn't want that for me.
Okay.
But then when Michael and when he took me out to the farm and we got into it, like, some of our friends are like, you do what? Why? I'm like, because I enjoy it. Like, it's fun. Like, I'm hunting for food on my table. Like, and just like, it felt like I had to justify what I was doing.
Okay.
And even for a while there, my mum's like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. That's not for girls. I'm like, but it is. Where does it say, where's the rule book that says that only men can participate? And
it's
I said,
almost a
everything
generational thing, hey?
Yeah. Because it was like, even when I was into surfing as a young kid, I did it with my uncle because he's the one that was surfing. But a lot of the people are like, why are you surfing? Like, it's a guy sport. I'm like, but it's not. And like, now you look at the surfing and we've got women's championships, like, and then with the hunting, we've also got competition for women. Like, it's just like, there's no boundaries now. And I like that. But yeah, like, even now to this day, when, like, at work, if someone new starts and they're like, oh, what do you do? I'm sometimes reluctant to let them know that I hunt. Only because I don't want to have to keep justifying what I do. So I tend to just keep that to myself until I get to know them a little bit more, and then I might drop it. And but then I don't need to justify it. So yeah. But other times it's just like, oh no, you know what? I go out hunting. I bring home animals for my freezer for us to eat, and they're like, what? I went, well, do you know where your cow comes from?
Yep. And what does that conversation look like when you're having those conversations with people that are like, you do what? And then you have that conversation. What does that look like to someone that hasn't put two and two together before?
So one conversation that stands out, it was between my girls and my niece and my nephew when they were little. And we would come back from hunting and Charli would make mention, oh, we've got goat and we're going to be eating it. And my niece is just like, you what? No, we get all our meat from Coles. And I said to her one day, I said, where do you think the meat from Coles comes from? She goes, I don't know. I said, well, the beef comes from a cow that's in a paddock that you might drive past, and they're raised to be put on the table. She goes, oh. So she goes, so chickens? I went, yep, they lay eggs and we also eat them. Yep. She goes, oh. And she goes, lamb? I went, they're baby sheep. So, yep, same thing. And she goes, oh, so we eat animals. I'm like, yeah, we do. And then she's looked at my sister and she goes, Mum, is that right? Do we eat animals? And my sister goes, no, we get our meat from Coles.
Okay, so how's this family dinner going? Are you in trouble at this point?
Oh, yeah, I was getting dirty looks. And I'm like, and my sister comes up to me later and she goes, can you just tell your girls that, like, the meat comes from, like, Coles? I'm like, well, no. She goes, why is that? I said, because they come from a cow, a sheep, a chicken, you name it. It's a living animal that is bred solely for the purpose of consumption.
Yep.
I said, I'm not going to lie to my niece and nephew. I don't lie to my kids, so I'm not going to lie to anyone else. I said, do what you will with that, but I'm not going to lie. So the next year we come back, and by this stage, my niece and my nephew realise that, yeah, what I've said is true. And they're like, my niece says to me one time, so did you bring anything back this time? I went, no, honey, not this time. We didn't actually get anything. She goes, oh, I thought you got stuff all the time. I went, no, there's some hunts where you don't get anything and some hunts where you get some, or some that you actually get a lot. But this time around it was a 0. She goes, well, why did you go? I said, because I enjoy going out. And it's just getting away from everything here and just getting out into nature. And she goes, oh, okay. And we also love camping. And she's tagged along quite a lot of times with us camping. I won't take her out hunting because that's not for me. That's for her parents to decide. But whenever we go camping, she's more than happy to come along, and she loves it. Like, so
she doesn't get that with her own family. So you're providing the opportunity to get out under the stars and enjoy that stuff with you guys.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
It
so
is.
have you got a favorite place or a hunt that's been especially meaningful to you? I know that we've spoken about your first pig and Evie's first goat.
Yep.
Is there a different one besides that stands out for you?
Yeah. So we normally hunt in October. So back in 2022, I said to my dad, I want you to come out with us. I really want to go hunting with you for the first time. I want the girls to hunt with you. I want you to give your knowledge and expertise to the girls.
How old was
Dad
at this time?
And he agreed. Back in 22, he was 69.
Wow. So he's got 69 years of wisdom being shared with his granddaughters.
Yep. And so he, finally managed to convince him, and he came out and he took us to all the places. Even though Michael had taken us to all these places before, it just felt different because I was with my dad.
Oh, man.
And like he, besides Michael, he does not let anyone else drive his car on that property where we go. And he let my girls drive. So it was just,
That's
and
special.
and just being with him. And I think we didn't get much that year. I think we may have just got one pig. But it wasn't that was the standout. It was the fact that I got to hunt with my dad.
After all those years of going, Dad, well, like, Dad, can I come? Dad, can I come?
Yeah.
And you got to do it. But not only with your dad, but you got to do it with his granddaughters as well.
Yep. Yeah. So
I can see why that one's
still
special for you.
Yeah, well, because they still go out. They go out twice a year, and I still hassle them every time. Hey, can I come? Can I come? And even the girls will say the same. And Dad's like, no, it's boys' weekend. I'm like, oh, seriously, Dad, you didn't have boys. I didn't have boys. Come on. But no, this is how I do things. I'm like, yeah, okay.
So,
but yeah,
what does hunting mean to you as a mum, as a daughter, as a wife? What does it mean to you?
Getting out into nature, getting away from civilization, getting away from all the technology, just getting away from everyday life, and just being able to focus in being in the here and now while I'm on that property, and not having to worry about, if I drive, is some person going to cut me off, or am I going to get hit, or having to worry about work. Am I going to get that done by the deadline? I just love going out hunting because I get away from it all. And normally by August, September, I'm starting to get antsy because I'm like, come on, we need to go out. Even though we've been because we're over the school holidays, we're always going somewhere. And it's just like, oh, come on. Like, even though we went away in the June, July school holidays, it's like, oh, no, come on. I need to go hunting.
Is it so? It's a different build up.
Yeah.
To a normal holiday.
Yeah, because I know where we're going, and I know that we're not going to have to worry about anything while we're out there. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is because I can just leave the civilization Mel behind.
Yep.
And go, welcome to the club, hunting Mel. Let's go.
So if there was any advice, a piece of advice that you'd give another woman who's listening to this, just starting out, thinking about maybe she's going to start doing this, is there a piece of advice that you'd give her if you were sat in front of her right now?
Be patient. Ask questions, no matter who it's from. Go into the hunting stores. Ask as many questions as possible, because that's what those guys are there for. Regardless of if they're male or female, they're there to help you achieve your result. And just don't limit yourself. You can do anything.
That's pretty cool advice. And what do you want your daughters to carry with them from this lifestyle that you've exposed them to as children and now young adults?
Be confident within themselves and know that they've got the skills to tackle anything and everything. in life.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I can hear there's some movement at the station in the background, so
Yeah.
I'll let you get back to your duties in the kitchen, cooking that curry. Not jealous at all. I just want to say a huge thank you, and thank you so much for sharing your stories. There's a few moments in there that gave me a bit of spine tingles. So I really appreciate you jumping on and sharing those stories. Now, just to give a teaser for everybody that's listening, we've spoken about her a few times in this podcast, but the next podcast you'll be hearing is from Charli. So we're going to have a chat to her and see what it's been like for her growing up in a hunting household, and maybe there's a little bit of dirt that she'll share on Mum as well. So,
oh God, I hope not, but who knows?
But thank you so much, Mel, and thank you everybody for tuning in and listening, and really looking forward to building the Women Who Hunt community and getting out there and sharing the word that it's not just for the boys. Us girls can get in and have a crack as well. So thanks everybody for listening, and really appreciate it. Chuck us a follow and tell your mates that we're here on Podcast Land, and share the stories, and we'll see you on the next episode.